And action!
Welcome to an Intentional Marriage Podcast. We are your hosts, Kristen and Chad Cottingham, and we are here to discuss all things marriage because we know great marriages don't just happen. You have to be intentional.
We just wanted to say, Kristen, we're starting off. Welcome back. It's 2025, pretty incredible. Hope you guys all had a great Christmas, Happy New Year, and are getting back into the swing of things.
Yes.
I know for us, man, we loved it. We had our family full, but I know our family was full, our house was full, and when they all left, we crashed.
We took a few days to recover, and so we're just getting back into the swing of things here. The older you get, the longer it takes to recover. We don't bounce back like we used to, honey.
That's true. That's why they say you should have kids while you're young.
And that is true.
True. So, Chris, at this time of year too, man, we see so many people setting New Year's resolutions, changing diets, going to the gym. Gym memberships go through the roof in January.
Yes.
Our son owns one down in Atlanta. He could tell you. So
yes, this is the time of year to start new things.
Are we starting anything new?
Whether it's, are we starting anything new?
Yeah.
Well, not really. I've never been a big one on New Year's resolutions. I mean, New Year's, same me. I like to have a growth mindset all through the year. I know myself, I don't have a lot of sustaining discipline when it comes to different areas. So
that's a good answer.
I like to take things one day at a time, live in the moment. No.
So if we would like to do better in certain areas,
yes,
and we talk about it, but
yes. Making daily intentional choices is kind of what I shoot for.
Well, we want to really start focusing that today, Kristen, because today we're going to jump into the topic of money.
Yes.
Because a lot of times on that new year, people are like, we've got to get our finances in order. We've got to get a budget. We're hurting. We have a lot of bills after Christmas.
Yes, debt and yeah.
And so money becomes a big one. And so we do want to focus on that
Yes,
today.
we're focusing on uniting, not fighting over money. It's a section in our book that we talk about because money is an important topic when it comes to marriage. It impacts everyday life, and therefore it does impact your marriage. I mean, like last night, for example, the Amazon driver was dropping off something at 9:30 at night, and you were like, what's going on? I used to be able to hide bags in the car, and now I can't really hide the Amazon truck anymore.
Back that Amazon truck up here.
Okay.
We're going to go back a little bit.
All right.
Because, some of you, most of you you get Amazon, you get stuff delivered on the regular.
Yes.
Back in the day, you had to go shop for everything. And we kind of knew our budget and knew how much money we had to spend. And Kristen,
which was none.
Unbeknownst to me, she would start opening these credit cards. She'd get these offers in the mail without telling me. And so she's shopping, having a good day. I have no idea. Man, our budget's kind of growing. We actually are saving a little money. We're not behind. And then I can remember even one time, Kristen, you called the neighbor to go to get our mail because you knew I was going to be...
You'd beat me home
before you, and I would find out you had this credit card.
I had a little system. Yeah, I knew like what days of the month the credit card bill
was. You were
was.
Devious.
I was devious and mischievous and...
Oh my God. When I found that credit card, that was not good.
That was not good. I couldn't keep up my sham for too long.
That was kind of like...
I don't know how long it went on. But
that's kind of like Mount Vesuvius erupting, I think.
It was bad. I still remember it in the kitchen of our 3 houses ago. But, so, okay, even a little bit more background. We were a one-income couple. I stayed home with our 3, then 4 little kids. There was the time you're referring to. We just had 3 kids at the time. And you were on a teacher's salary. And
coach,
we didn't have a lot of money by the world standards. I mean, we were pretty much paycheck to paycheck for a very long time. Not a lot of margin. And I mean, we did fine. I mean, like we had our needs provided. We were able to pay our bills and whatnot.
You
but
just liked other
I
things.
liked to shop, and I liked things.
She liked them special pretty things.
I liked,
and pillows and decorations.
Yes, I like my house decorated nicely. And anyway, okay. So, yeah, back to that time. I did have a habit of opening credit cards that you didn't know about, and then I would have to strategically get the mail and pay them. But I don't even know how I paid them without you knowing, though. How? Because we had one account.
You were doing the bare minimum. The worst things you can do when it comes to debt. We were doing it. You were doing it.
Oh, now it's me.
It became us doing it. But I remember, too, there'd be a while, I would look over on the couch, I'm like, when did we get those pillows? And you had gotten new pillows but didn't say, and they were snuck in.
Yeah.
Like, I got those weeks ago. Yeah, right. They were just yesterday.
I'd leave bags in the car and wait for you to go, to work the next day, and I'd sneak them out. Yeah, okay. So let's talk about another time, though, and remember when we decided to go to Best Buy and buy a new TV? This is another kind of financial. I'm shifting the focus off of me right now, and I'm bringing we into this. So one time though, we went to Best Buy. We wanted to get a new TV.
It might have been Circuit City back in
the day. Okay. Anyway, we had this impulse purchase. We both looked at each other. We were like, "Yes, we want this brand new big TV." Okay.
That we couldn't afford. I think we literally had $400 in our checking account.
Okay.
And maybe $100 in our savings.
And we bought this $500 TV. We pulled out of the parking lot. We were driving down the street. We didn't even get a mile down the road. We looked at each other and we were like, what did we just do? We whipped a Yui, went back to Best Buy, hauled the big TV back into the same sales guy, and he's like, what are you doing back? And we're like, yeah, we just made a dumb decision. We need to return this. And he just was like, okay, whatever. You people are crazy. So all that to say...
That was a good decision.
That was a good decision based on a bad decision. Yeah. So anyway.
So I'm going to jump in. But Kristen, money, we laugh about it. We joke about how we may have treated it, but money in itself isn't bad.
Right. But so, okay, this is what, the point we make in the book is that money itself, like you said, isn't the topic. It's the value we place on money. That we misplace the value because we look at money as a way to either meet certain needs we have or it becomes like part of our identity. And neither of those things are true. That money is basically just a tool that we need to live in this life, and we need it to. I heard this that there's basically 4 ways that you can use money: live, give, owe, and grow. So you live on it. We have to spend it. We have to buy food, clothes, pay.
Pay mortgage and rent.
Yeah. Give, meaning we can give to others, causes,
give to our church,
good organizations that we believe in. And then we owe taxes, we have to pay our bills. And then grow is we save.
Owe debt.
Right, owe debt, yeah. For a long time we had that was a big category. But yeah, so it's really just in how you not just use it, but how you value it. Because some people can, and I think, I'm not... Well, I'm kind of going off topic here a minute, but we either use it as we kind of think of our net worth as our self-worth. And
I think a lot of guys can fall into that. And it could be guys or girls now, but I know when we were first, what do guys do when they introduce themselves?
Hey, what do you do?
What do you do?
Yes.
And what you do is usually you kind of associate with how much money you make and a status. So sometimes you could put your value or worth based on what you do, because then they're more how much money.
Yes.
And part of that too, though, is we live in this materialistic society.
Right.
That more. Get the best phone, the bigger phone, the better house, the better car. And we spend. And again, none of these are bad.
Right.
If you have, number one, the funds, if you're budgeting the funds, if you're not hurting or neglecting other areas.
Right.
Because for years, I know we didn't give to church or didn't tithe because we barely could make our bills and pay our debt.
Yes.
And so our whole system was a mess. Mm-hmm. We were living check to check.
Yes.
And it became a lot of stress and tension on our marriage.
Yes.
that we didn't really need to have.
Yes.
But we fought so often over the topic of money. Came up at the holidays. It would come up at birthdays. Why are we spending so much on this birthday party?
Yes.
We don't have it. They got it. We wanted to impress. So money, again, is not bad, but in our marriage, it becomes a focal point.
Yes, and I think the fights originate from, like I just said, how we value it. Like I might see it differently than you see it, and how we viewed it growing up. A lot of that we bring into marriage. I think, for example, the way you celebrate birthdays. For our kids, I made a big deal out of birthdays, and birthdays were fun, and we spent some money and bought presents, and for other people, it's no big deal. Like, why are you spending all this money on, so it's like that we have different views too.
But now parties are a norm. Back then, you were kind of a rarity. You would love it, but you do your own parties, and you might have scavenger hunts for your kids,
right.
But now they go to the big jump gyms. You got these huge 16th birthdays. So now all of a sudden,
there's cultural expectations in there too. So
make it challenging on people's budgets.
Yes.
On the family.
So basically what we talk about in the book too is uniting, not fighting over money, is really getting on the same page as to what our value system is. Are we looking at it to, be a mark on our self-worth, or is our net worth our self-worth? Is, does it make us more significant the more money we have? Does it mean we're successful? And we've kind of come to the place that it's none of those things. We truly turned to scripture and wanted to understand what Jesus said about money. That's kind of was the turning point for us. And when we really realized, money is just a tool. It's here to help us, meet the needs of others, build the life that we want to have, meet the needs of others, and further God's kingdom is really the value system that we adopted. Jesus' perspective on money. And, with the help of Dave Ramsey, we will give a shout out to Dave Ramsey, even though
let me jump in here. Let me share. So for years, I wanted to do Dave Ramsey. If you have financial peace, many of you have done that. If you haven't, strongly encourage, because what you're going to learn in that is you control your money. You're going to tell your money what to do. And I wanted to go for many years. Hey, Kristen, we should do this. I think we need to do this. Because I just felt that tension in our marriage about money.
Yeah.
And so I would ask, no, I'm not going. I don't want to go. And so I remember going, we were doing some youth at our church, and we had some Dave Ramsey stuff there. So I learned all the principles and the money envelopes, but I couldn't do it myself.
Right.
So I kept saying, Kristen, would you want to join? Kristen, do you want to do this? No. And finally one year, it was brought up in church again. And finally, Kristen says, yeah, I think we should. And so, Kristen, why did you not want to do that? Because I think that's what you're ready to say.
Do you read my mind, honey? Well, I didn't. For the longest time, the word budget meant restriction for me. I thought that's what a budget was. It was
you thought prison.
I did. And I thought it was a lot loss of control too. Oh my gosh, am I going to have to ask for 50 cents to, buy a pack of gum? Do
I have to get permission for everything I buy?
Yes. And I did not like that because clearly I liked spending freely. And my little system was working for a little while of hiding and,
you're barely afloat.
Right. So finally, when that did become too uncomfortable, it was like, you know what? There is tension in our marriage. We don't have healthy discussions around money because I would get so defensive. But the Lord just worked on my heart, and your constant nagging, encouragement.
And so we did. We finally went to a financial peace, a number of classes. And I remember afterwards, and actually during, Kristen, I remember seeing a light bulb in you.
Yes.
Because I remember you going, this is great. Mm-hmm. This isn't restricting in a prison. This is freeing. Well, because now we could see how much money we had coming in, where it was going, where we might have been wasting money or spending where we did. And all of a sudden it was like you could see it, because part of that is you're creating this budget.
Right.
And then you attack debt. And as you do these things, you're telling your money where to go. And so you and I were like, this is great.
Well, and it freed up a lot of the guilt,
Yes.
you know, from me spending money. And also what it did is it helped give me language to communicate what the needs were. Because let's be honest, I was doing most of the spending as far as like groceries. I paid the bills back then. I knew what the kids needed. So a lot of it was like, wasn't frivolous spending. I feel like it was necessary spending, but you didn't see it. Like, why are you going to Old Navy again? You know, and I'd be like, the kids outgrew their clothes.
So what we had to do, and what we came up with, we want to encourage those of you out there, is we started having some business meetings. We started on Saturday morning, said we need to sit down and talk. And the reason was, at first Chris was like, oh no, we could be here all day. So we set a time limit. So those of you that this scares you, you're worried about this, first of all, jump into some Dave Ramsey, do some reading. But I would also say set a time to talk.
Yes.
Because in this time to talk, this is when you said, I'm like, hey, you know, my check's coming in next week. Things are tight until then. Kristen, okay, but we got the boys are signing them up for Rocket football. We got registration. They need new cleats. So, okay. So let me move some money. So all of a sudden, when you start telling me what was coming up, then I knew, okay, could you wait until Friday and do that when my check came? Or it was direct deposited on a Thursday.
Yes.
So now all of a sudden we were on the same page. Instead of you buying it on Monday, me yelling at you and getting mad that you spent money we didn't have, but you didn't know we didn't have it until Thursday.
Yes.
So we got on the same page. I got to understand your world, and you got to see what was stressing me about the budget and why we needed to slow down or wait.
Well, and I think too, it helped us, what you just said, become proactive rather than reactive.
Yes.
So much of our money was reactive.
So much of our marriage advice were reaction.
Rather than proactive
And so that's part of the communication we've talked so many times. When you communicate, communicate what we need, what's coming up, what's it look like, when you talk about it, it's so much better in your budget. You're going to understand your money rather than keep it separate, don't talk, and then we just fight. What are you doing?
Well, and what else it did too is it gave me permission in a sense, and I don't, I use that term loosely, but like I always thought, okay, the budget's going to prohibit me from spending, and I'm never going to get anything I want. Like I'm never going to be able to buy those cute pillows, that I really wanted. Whatever.
We have a lot of pillows.
We do. Okay. But anyway.
She's real good at pillows, so if you need some advice.
Hey, I like my home nicely decorated and to feel warm and comforting and welcoming and cozy. So anyway, pillows achieve that.
Very cozy.
Okay. But where was I going with this? Oh, it gave me permission because then we had our own little slush fund. We'd say, okay, this is your money you can spend freely. And so then I could buy what I wanted to buy, the pillows, and I didn't have to hide them or I didn't have to put it on the credit card. So it really, what I thought was a restriction actually became permission and more freedom. And I didn't have to hide and I didn't have to feel guilty like I was keeping a secret. And so... it was a shift in mindset.
It was a huge shift in mindset. And what that did, that allowed us to know how much money we had. And then we started attacking some of that debt.
Right.
And then once we started getting out of debt, there was more money, more disposable money. Hey, we could give to this ministry.
Yep.
We could, there's a lady down the street, single mom. All of a sudden, we could give freely because God wants to take care of us.
Right.
But he also knows he's blessed us to help others.
Right.
And for many years, we could barely help ourselves,
right?
Let alone turn and be able to help someone else.
Right. But honestly, there is so much wisdom and, like money principles in Scripture. Like Jesus talks about money more than any other topic.
And that's unbelievable.
It is so but he knows
more than love, more than heaven is money.
Because money is the number one thing that takes his place in our hearts. because we do look at it as a way to meet our needs. We do look at it as a source of security, when really God is in control. He is our Father. He is our provider. He is the one that meets our needs. But so often we look at money as that meter of needs, needs meter, whatever.
And in part of that, he talked about it so much because where do so many of our fights come in marriage? Around money. Whether it's the holidays and money, the birthday parties and money, going out to eat, we spent too much money. So many of topics, communication things center around money.
Yes.
So when that's in its place, when we know we've got a budget, we know how much we can spend, we know what we're doing, it doesn't then take a priority. We know we can, like we said, give freely, take care of our family, save for retirement, whatever it is, college. We can do those things.
Yes. I think a budget is a good tool to help couples get on the same page. It's not, like what I said earlier and what I used to think, it was restriction, but it's actually freedom. But I think too, it's also important for couples to have a conversation around money. What you said too, maybe in this weekly business meeting, because it is a sensitive topic. And so having that time set aside to have this conversation, I can handle anything for 30 minutes or an hour. If I know that this difficult conversation is going to be over in an hour, I'm able to kind of navigate through it better. But, just have some conversations about, how I like alliteration, but your view, your values, and your vision. So your view, talk about what money was like growing up and how it impacts you today. And I remember as a kid too, my classmates always went on vacations for spring break, and my family never did that. Whether I don't know why we didn't, but it became like this thing for me. Like I always thought, when I grow up and I get married, I want to take my family on vacations, because I always saw them coming back from all these fun places, and I'm like, they'd be, oh, what'd you do over a break? Nothing, sat in my room And so those experiences impact you as an adult, and whether we know it or not, we are bringing them into our marriage. And so just have these conversations, some questions, fill in the blank. In my home growing up, money was fill in the blank. Was it tight? Was it stressful? Was it a source of conflict? Was it abundant? I think those are good conversations to have. And then,
were you a spoiled brat? Were you
right?
Did you have to work because you had no money to help support? It's so many different things.
All these things shape who we become today and who we are today. And then, so talk about how you value. I value my home being warm and welcoming. I want my kids to come. And so I can use another TV example. When we moved to this house and we were in the market for a new TV, and
this time we were in the market.
Yeah, we really were.
We did have money set aside.
Yes, but you wanted the smaller TV, and I said, honey, you know what? Let's go big. Go big or go home.
Oh, man, that was tough.
Because I said, you know what? Our kids are grown now, and our son-in-laws, I want our family to come home. And what usually centers around a family gathering, at least in our house?
Family,
sports. And so they like to come to our house now and watch the Detroit Lions. We're going to, we have, so we created those moments, but it kind of goes back to our value system and how we spend money. I said, a value to me is having family time, and a TV is going to bring us together in that sense. So having a conversation about your view, your values, how you want to spend your money now, and your vision for the future. Like, what do we want to save for retirement? Do we want to have a lake home? Do we want to, be able to give to these ministries? What does our future look like?
And so much of it, that and Dave Ramsey gets in that as well. The legacy. What legacy are you going to leave?
Right.
But before we leave you guys, Kristen, I'm going to ask you something about money.
Okay. I didn't see this coming.
No. We trained If money was no object.
Oh, wow.
If we had unlimited funds and we don't, what trip where would you like to go? With unlimited, where would you like to go?
Where would I like to go? There's a couple different places.
You're gonna give me one.
I think I would like to go to Israel. And I would like to see the Holy Land, and I would like to walk where Jesus walked. I would like to see all of the places in Scripture. If I could just pick one, I mean, there's other places. I'd like to go to the Amalfi Coast. I would like to go to Fiji. But I mean, really, truly, Israel, I would pick. How about you?
Well, the reason I said that, and we're asking this, is because that's kind of a visionary thing.
Yes.
And those are things you can shoot for, save for, look forward to.
Right.
That you put stuff aside for and
Yes.
you build up to that.
Yes.
So I think you need to have that. Don't ask me a different question rather than
Okay. If you were given $10,000 today.
Or 50,000.
Okay, I'm going to say 50. I'll say 50,000. What would you buy?
What would I buy?
Or how would you spend it?
I'd give it all to charity.
Yeah, right. Okay, you know what?
Honestly, I would probably say get a new truck.
You would get a new truck. Okay.
Yep.
Because my pillows are nothing compared to your hunting gear. Hey, if we're going to be fair here, let's talk about, all the hunting gear that you spent money
over
on.
Time, I get it for Christmas gifts.
Well, I get pillows over time. Different seasons require different pillows.
We have pillows for different seasons. We have this huge storage room, and I'm about to build some shelves.
And you have a whole pole barn out there for your,
I have 2 pole barns. So
are we uniting or are we fighting over money?
We're laughing.
No, we have come a long way, honey. And it's by the grace of God and a lot of failing forward, a lot of fights.
And I'd like to say, too, in this uniting, we're laughing now. Make sure your spouse feels comfortable. Don't put them down. No, that's dumb. Please don't do that. Hear us out there. Give them that respect, or they're never going to open up and share about money, their dreams. They're going to keep hiding. To unite, you've got to be able to get everything out, and you got to feel safe.
Yes.
Getting out. You got to feel.
Are you setting us up for the next conversation or podcast on communication? And
unintentionally, I
think
being
you
intentional.
Did. So anyway, I think we should land the plane here and wrap up. But it feels better being on this side of our finances now, doesn't it, honey?
It does. I want to encourage you, wherever you're at in your marriage, wherever you're at in your finances, if you need to start with setting a budget, do it. Find those tools. If you need to go to a
financial counselor
class, do it.
Yes.
If you need to talk to someone, do it. Whatever that next step is, whether it's saving, setting the legacy, college, take it, because it's so important that you control your money, that it doesn't control you.
Yes.
And so we appreciate you joining us today, and good luck on your financial journey, as we know it's such a big part of marriage. But we know great marriages don't just
happen. You have to be intentional. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.